Have you ever heard an animal scream in the middle of the night and thought, what the hell was that? Or maybe you've been walking through the forest and seen a deer standing perfectly still, staring into the trees, and wondered what it was doing. Well, maybe it was answering the call of the wild subconscious. Maybe it was dreaming of running through the grassy plains or soaring high above the treetops. But then again, maybe not. Animals can't dream like we do. That is, unless they're dreaming our dreams. So put on your thinking caps, fellow scholars, because today we are going to tackle a big one. What if animals dreamed our dreams? Before we dive deep into the topic, please subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos. When most people think about what other animals are doing, they tend to focus on their actions while awake. But animals spend a great deal of time sleeping too. In fact, the amount of sleep that an animal needs varies depending on its size and species, but overall follows a similar pattern to humans. As you may know, humans need a good 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night to be at their best. And during this time, we enter a world of imagination, ideas, and emotions, the world of dreams. But until recently, we didn't know if other animals could do the same thing. It turns out that certain parts of the brain that are active during REM sleep, which is the stage when most of our dreaming occurs, are also found in many other species. This led scientists to hypothesize that these creatures might be dreaming too. But here's where things get interesting. The type of dreams animals have might depend on whether or not they reawake inside their own bodies, or if they suddenly thrust into ours. We'll tell you how right after. First, let's talk about human-animal dream swaps. When we say, what if animals dreamed our dreams? We don't mean that a squirrel would wake up from a nightmare about being chased by a cat only to turn around and find itself face-to-face with Fluffy. Instead, we're talking about something more like a deer waking up from a dream in which it's running for its life, except instead of a coyote, it finds itself running from a coyote. In other words, it's living out its dream. This idea is based on the concept of the reticular activating system, or RAS, which is a group of neurons located in the brainstem. The RAS is responsible for regulating sleep and wakefulness in both humans and animals. In humans, the RAS has been shown to play a role in the formation of dreams. So what if the same were true for animals? In 2001, researchers set out to answer this very question. Their study, published in the journal Behavioral Neuroscience, examined the brain activity of 5 dogs while they slept. Using electrodes placed on their brains, the team was able to monitor the dogs' brainwaves as they dreamed. They found that the dogs experienced periods of REM sleep, and that during these periods, their brain activity changed in ways that were similar to humans. Additionally, they found that certain parts of the dogs' brains lit up in ways that resembled the activity seen in humans during specific types of dreams. Building on this research, a study conducted in 2004 used the same methods to look at the brains of 2 cats. Again, they found evidence of REM sleep and similar patterns of brain activity to humans during dreams. And just last year, scientists took this a step further by recording the brain activity of 3 cats and 4 dogs using implanted electrodes. Not only did they confirm that these animals experience REM sleep, but they also found that their dreams were filled with activity from their whiskers and paws, suggesting that they were experiencing tactile sensations while dreaming. But perhaps even more exciting was the discovery that they were also capable of emotional experiences while dreaming, just like us. In other words, it seems that animals can dream, but what exactly are they dreaming about? It turns out that animals' dreams may not be all that different from ours. For example, one study published in the journal Learning and Memory found that rats who were trained to navigate a maze would often run through a virtual version of the maze in their dreams, and fruit flies have been observed to chase each other around in their sleep, just like they do when they're awake. Some animals may even dream of their greatest fears. For instance, female birds of paradise have been found to dream of being chased by a hawk, even though they're not typically hunted by hawks in the wild. And spiders who live in groups have been observed to dream of being attacked by other spiders. These dreams may help animals prepare for potential threats by allowing them to practice their fight or flight response in a safe environment. So what does all this mean for the way we understand animals? Till recently, it was widely believed that animals did not experience consciousness in the same way that humans do. However, the evidence presented here suggests that animals may be more like us than we previously thought. In fact, some researchers believe that dreaming may be a universal feature of all animals that have a neocortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for higher-order thinking. This means that everything from dogs and cats to dolphins and elephants may be dreaming, too. And speaking of elephants, a recent study published in the journal Scientific Reports found that elephants experience REM sleep, and their brain activity during REM sleep is more similar to humans than to any other species studied so far. This suggests that elephants may be dreaming in a way that is much closer to us than we ever imagined. These findings raise a lot of questions about the nature of consciousness and the similarities between humans and animals. If animals are dreaming, it could mean that they have subjective experiences and are capable of feeling emotions just like us. It could also suggest that dreaming is an essential part of the animal mind and that it plays a role in their ability to learn and adapt to their environment. Okay, so now let us take this a step further and ask what would happen if animals dreamed our dreams. Well, first off, it would probably be pretty confusing for them. Imagine a fish suddenly waking up on land, gasping for air as it tries to figure out what happened. That is exactly what it would be like for an animal that suddenly found itself living out its wildest nightmares or most exciting adventures. But beyond the immediate confusion, there could be some serious consequences for the animal and its ecosystem. Take, for instance, a bird that dreams of soaring through the skies. When it wakes up, it might try to spread its wings and fly, which could end in disaster. Or a fish that dreams of swimming through a coral reef might thrash around in its sleep, injuring itself in the process. Not only that, but animals' behaviors while dreaming could have serious consequences for those around them. For instance, a mouse that dreams of running from a cat could end up biting or scratching its cage mate, or a dog that dreams of chasing squirrels could injure its owner during a game of fetch. Okay, let's pull back a little and remember that we're not talking about a single animal here. We're talking about every animal on Earth having the same dream. So we're talking about a mass culling of animals. That would be bad news for humanity. We also don't want to ignore the ethical implications of such a scenario. Many animals are kept in captivity for our entertainment or profit, such as in zoos, aquariums, and factory farms. If these animals were to suddenly start experiencing intense dreams and acting out, it could pose a risk to both themselves and to the humans around them. Zoos and aquariums would need to take extra precautions to ensure the safety of both animals and visitors. And the conditions in factory farms would likely become even more chaotic and dangerous. So what's the solution? Well, luckily for us, scientists don't expect animals to start dreaming our dreams anytime soon. There's currently no evidence that animals experience the same kind of dreams that humans do, and it's unlikely that they will start doing so without some serious intervention. But this doesn't mean that we should ignore the possibility entirely. By studying animals' dreams, we can learn more about their behavior, cognition, and emotional lives. And if we ever do discover a way to communicate with animals telepathically, we should keep in mind that they might have some pretty vivid dreams to share with us. So next time you hear an animal screaming in the night, don't just assume that it's having a nightmare. It could be trying to tell us something important about its world, its feelings, and its place in the universe. And finally, thanks for watching, and do not forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends.